You're a Vietnam veteran. You served in the Navy, and you were in Vietnam right at the end of the war in Da Nang in 1972.
1972, first of 1973.
Wow, so right at the end of the
Right
war.
at the end, yes.
Yeah. And you're a supporter of Vivek Ramaswamy?
I am.
And what is it about Vivek that attracts you?
Well, it's his ability to answer the questions and, or in a good way, and he's not the fluff that Donald Trump is. And I like Trump. I voted for Trump. I believe what Trump did was good for the country, but I believe Vivek can take it one step further.
So you were in Vietnam at the very end,
Right.
and I'm assuming that from what you saw, you probably weren't surprised that South Vietnam fell in 1975.
Well, I just no, actually, I'm not surprised, but I just think of the waste of the war and the way it went down. I thought of the American lives that were lost there, and it seemed like for nothing. That's the feeling I had, and I thought, and the way he's talking about keeping us out of war and a fresh light on it, so.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, because you had there were very few Americans in Vietnam in 72 and early 73. I mean, it's over in early 73.
Yeah.
Very few. You're at the end of it. You can see this didn't work out. This struggle in Vietnam did not work out. And you're saying that one of the things that attracts you to the candidacy of Vivek Ramaswamy is his promise to keep us out of these kinds of wars.
Right. Especially his opening our eyes to the Democrats and the Republicans that are warmongers, that keep us in that. And we think we go as veterans as anybody. We go to fight for our country and in fact, it's for other people's profit. It wasn't for America, it was for other people's profit. And I just think he brought that out to the forefront for me.
So I think, for me especially, what was appealing about Vivek is he talked about getting us out of these crazy short-term wars, Afghanistan, Iraq. I served in Bosnia. My wife served in Iraq in 2003 for a year. We have over 1,000 days deployed in combat zones, and I don't want to see that anymore. I mean, we're losing a generation of American men and women to PTSD and the 40 suicides a day, and so he's the only candidate that's really hitting that message hard, and being supportive of veterans after their service. I mean, some of the ideas that he had about a 6-week cooling down period after being deployed, where they could reacclimate themselves back to the civil world. So I appreciate those things, and I think generally speaking, because he loves America, naturally he's going to love the veterans, and that's appealing to me, and I appreciate that from him.
You served in the Army for 26 years.
Yes.
You're a supporter of Vivek Ramaswamy, his
Absolutely.
presidential campaign.
Absolutely.
What is it about Vivek Ramaswamy that leads you to support his candidacy?
Well, he's pro-military and sensible. So his feeling is that we shouldn't deploy the military unless it's really necessary, and that we have problems right here in the country on the southern border and the northern border to a lesser extent, and that's where we should be deploying military until we get that cleaned up, and then we should only deploy overseas unless if it's something that's vital to the security of the United States. So I like that opinion, and I found him to be very supportive of the military and law enforcement, which I'm a retired police officer.
Seems like he wants to empower the military, but not necessarily be in every conflict in the world.